And then Ms. Coates, you're not on video, but you are participating. If you go ahead and announce and give me an opening statement, including what, if any, contested issues I may have today.
Hey, Judge. So today we're here on a suit affecting the parent-child relationship for two children, which are 13, first 10. Both parties have been made aware of the DNA results as Mr. Alexander has requested. The DNA testing, they were both informed that Mr. Alexander could not be ruled out as the father. And so at this time, Your Honor, this case is heavily contested. These parties cannot agree on anything, Your Honor. So at this time, what I'm going to state is what Ms. Alexander wants and what Mr. Alexander would like. So
Before you go, jump, I think I was coughing or I didn't hear the age of the older child was how old?
13.
13. Okay, and the first 10, we've got older children.
Yeah.
Okay, then now I know that. So yes, ma'am, you may proceed.
Yes. All right. And so also, Your Honor, just to let you know, once I finish this opening, I will have Ms. Gonzalez Exalia testify. But this time,
remind me when you call her that I still need to swear in. I forgot to do that already, but when we call her, just remind me to do that.
Yes,
Somebody remind me. Okay.
So at this time, the parties are contesting the retroactive start date. Ms. Alexander is going to testify that they separated May 28, 2021, which would start the retro of June 1, 2021 till present. Mr. Alexander believes that it should be September 1st, 2021 when they separated. Another issue, Your Honor, is that Mr. Alexander lives in California and we haven't been able to find any wages and he hasn't really confirmed how much he's making. And so at this time, we're going to defer to Your Honor on whether we should base it on minimum wage for Texas or for California. Ms. Gonzalez is going to testify to what the new minimum wage is for California, as California has just started a new minimum wage law over there. So I have her testify to that, Your Honor.
And Mr. Alexander doesn't have a work history he's provided you all of some kind, even if it's only his evidence or his testimony?
He hasn't provided us anything, Your Honor. Like I said, it's been very hard to get information from both sides. This is our fifth setting. My understanding, he's claiming he's not working and he's pretty much homeless. And so that's why we're going to ask that it be based on a minimum wage. Now, whether it should be based on Texas or California will be up to you, Your Honor. The children are, I believe, on mom's health insurance, which I believe she has through TRICARE, VA, I believe. And I don't believe she's paying a monthly for that, Your Honor, but I could be wrong. And then,
does father have any insurance available to him or not?
No, Your Honor. He's, again, I believe he's going to testify that he's homeless and doesn't have any income.
Well, I have Molina insurance. It's like for like people that are like homeless, whatever. But I didn't hear
that, Mr. Alexander. For some reason, it was a little garbled for me. Can you start over?
Okay, so basically, I was getting the state insurance, Molina Healthcare. I was getting that at first. So now I'm able to get my spouse's benefit, which is CHAMP VA, where you don't pay nothing at all, and you just go be seen by a doctor. I haven't used it yet, but I received the medical card in the mail. I would say probably. Okay.
Tell you what, we're gonna hear more. We're gonna hear more testimony when you're testifying. She's just giving me an overview, so I know what the issues are. But my really quick question is: does that cover you, or does that cover the children, the ones that you're talking about right now?
So CHAMP VA covers her, the children, and me. CHAMP VA does.
Okay, and you have that.
No, she has that by her being a disabled veteran. Molina just covers me.
Okay, that's not available for the children.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I got it. Then flesh it out during testimony. Okay, Ms. Coates, you may continue.
And given that these two parties are in different states, I believe there's no issue with the geographic restriction, Your Honor. I'll confirm that. But Miss Alexander is asking to be sole managing. Mr. Alexander would like to be joint. Miss Alexander would prefer no visits at this time, Your Honor. And Mr. Alexander would like visits, and he would be okay if they are supervised. But Miss Alexander is going to testify that she believes it's in the best interest that the children have no visits with Mr. Alexander, and that setting visits for when he visits Texas would most likely not be appropriate, given he hasn't been to San Antonio in quite some time, and also given that he isn't working, he has no means to fly the children out for visits. And Miss Alexander will even testify that she has some concerns about having electronic visits. And I think that pretty much covers it, Your Honor. As I stated, there is a lot to unpack here.
Well, I do it all the time, so we can do it. I have full confidence, Ms. Coates, and we have to do it. That's our job. So we'll go forward. The state's going to call witnesses one at a time. Whoever is not testifying at the time, I need you to hold your thoughts and your responses and questions. All that happens when it's your turn. Try not to interrupt the other person when it's their turn, and you'll be given the same courtesy. If you all start talking or fighting or talking over each other or the court, I'm going to have to stop you all. That doesn't work, and I won't get a good recording out of this. So it is important to follow some rules. Although I do go back and forth, it's one at a time, never both of you at the same time. And then the state has an additional witness that they'll also call. So Ms. Coates gets to decide who goes first, second, and third. Ms. Coates, you want to start?
Yes, I'm going to call Miss Exalio Gonzalez first, and if you could swear her in, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, I think there you are. You have your video on. If you would identify yourself first, ma'am.
Exalio Gonzalez. I'm with the Office of the Attorney General, Child Support Officer.
Thank you. Let me swear you in if you'd raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, you're a witness, Ms. Coates.
All right, Miss Gonzalez, can you tell us your job title and your duties?
Child Support Officer with the Office of the Attorney General, and my duties is to review child support cases.
And when you were speaking with Mr. Alexander, were you able to find any wage information, or was he able to provide you with any wage information?
No, there's no wage information available. He stated he was homeless and unemployed for the last 2 years.
And were you able to find out any information about what he was doing prior to those 2 years of not being able to work?
No, ma'am, he didn't provide that information.
All right. And then as part of your job as a child support officer, you do have resources and where you can look into that information. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
However, it's only restricted to Texas.
Correct.
So he's been living in California. Do you know how long?
He's been in California for more than 5 years now.
Okay. And that's why you haven't been able to find any wage information.
Correct.
All right. And so, Ms. Gonzalez, during your research and as a child support officer, what were you able to find out with regards to California's minimum wage?
So regarding California's minimum wage, it just got changed effective as of January 1st to $16.50 an hour for all employees.
And where did you find this information? Was this a federal web?
Yes, it's going to be the State of Texas Department of Relations.
State of Texas?
I'm sorry, the State of California Department of Relations.
Thank you.
All right. And so as we know here, the federal for Texas is $7.25 an hour. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. If we were to use minimum wage based on Texas, and if Ms. Alexander has health insurance and there is no reimbursement, what would the child support be?
With the Texas, it would be child support set at $289 a month.
And then if you could just reiterate the gross and the net.
I'm here. I can hear everything. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cough on video. Did you hear the question, Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes. So the wages on the gross for the Texas would be $1,256.
And then if there is no other children under the age of 18, what is the net?
Dad claimed that he had one child he had two over the age of 18 and one still under the age of 18 about to graduate,
No.
but I wasn't able to confirm that.
No. There's one that's above the age. That's in Air Force. But I have a son named Josh Jr. That's through the Attorney General office that I do pay on. That I paid $395 for Josh Jr. He's not 18 yet.
Okay, well, Ms. Gonzalez is testifying, Mr. Alexander. I know you want to correct it immediately, and I appreciate that, but she's going to testify to what she knows, and you come back, and when it's your turn, you'll tell me what you know, okay?
Okay.
And then his net resources would be $1,159.
If I were to give you a second, could you look to see if there is another case against him where he is paying for another child?
Would it be a Texas case? I guess I'll ask you, Mr. Alexander, full on. Is it a Texas case you're paying child support on, or another state?
It's a Texas case, and I can give you the number, the case number, the calls number, everything if you like it.
They can look it up through your name, so that's okay. So thank you. Yes, it's a Texas case, so you can look it up. Ms. Gonzalez, you have this one.
Yes, because it's $295 a month I'm paying on that one.
Yes, he does have another case in the state of Texas with Joshua Alexander, the other dependent.
Okay, so then let's just go ahead and recalculate that number then, giving him credit for one other child using Texas minimum wage.
Child support would be set at $231.
And then also, I'm so sorry, go ahead.
So, let's see.
Mr. Alexander, I'd suggest you write your thoughts down if you have a piece of paper so that you don't forget when it's your turn, because it could be a while before I talk to you, and I don't want you forgetting what you're trying to say now, but just hang on to your thoughts and write them down if you can.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're using the gross of $1,256.67. Tax withheld is $96.80. We didn't put health insurance. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then if we put one other child, my calculation showed $261.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. It's going to the prep screen with the other children. Hold on.
So what percentage did you use, Ms. Coates? 17.5 or something else?
I am using.
Oh, no. It's 2 children before the court, 1 child outside the court. Did I hear that right?
Correct. 2 children before the court and 1 child.
So what's
Sorry, hold on. It's taking me to the other prep screen.
Okay.
To the other case I went into. Hold on. It's going to be 289.
What percentage did you use for that? I know the computer calculates for you, but
Yeah, it calculates it for us. Hold on. Let me pull it in.
I'd like to know for the record or for them to know too.
Hold on, Yanni.
Is it 22.5 maybe? Because for 2 children without anyone else, it's 25.
Yes, 22.5.
Thank you. So now did you get the same number with that percentage, Ms. Coates?
So it's 290 if it's just 2 children, but I'm getting with one other child 261.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. 261.
Okay. I just want both of you to be on the same page.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
So, if we were to use, which would, let's clarify that. By the way, Your Honor, the net resource would be $1,159.87. Okay. So if we were to calculate, Ms. Gonzalez, from June 1st, 2021, till present, what would the retroactive support be?
Back in, because it's the one child credit. Child support retro would be $11,960. It would be 46 months.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
$11,960.
Okay, and so this is based on the Texas. And then based on California, can you give us those numbers now knowing that he has another child?
Yes, let me read. Okay, with the one other child, it's going to be child support at 561.
551 or 561? I can never hear that.
561.
561. Thank you.
Okay, so what was the gross?
$2,640.
So what was so it's 1650 in California, 50?
Correct.
40 hours a week.
Oh, wait, hold on.
52. Is that what we're doing?
Correct.
Okay, so that gave me a yearly of 34,320. Is that what you got?
No, because I did by the month. You want me to do the year?
Yes.
Okay.
If we do 650 times 40 hours times 52 weeks, that's 34,320. And then we divided that by 12. What do you get? Monthly.
I get 2,860.
Okay. So then if you put that in our system with one other child, what is the child support amount?
You're looking at $555.
Okay. Now, based on what mom is asking for, what would the retro be based on that?
I have retro at $25,530.
Okay. All right. And I forgot to do the one for Texas for dad, but let's start with this one for now since we have this pulled up. If we went on based on what dad is saying, what would the retro be at that from September 1st till present?
Get that.
So just so I'm aware, how many months used for mom's side and how many for the dad's side?
46 months
For mom, okay.
for retro, mom's claiming.
And so that would be what, 2 less months for dad? June, July. Oh, 3 months, August.
Yeah, dad's claiming they didn't separate till August.
So 43 months versus 46 months.
Yes.
Okay. We're on the same page.
So for 43 months under dad, it would be $23,865 based on California.
For dad, yes, it'll be 25,500. Or are you talking about the new amount? It would be 12,000 for the 261 child support retro for 46 months. It would be $12,006.
That's for the Texas minimum wage numbers
Correct.
for 43 months.
A new one giving him credit for the one child.
Correct. Okay.
So 26.
That would be the new
So I'll do it. I got it from here. All right, Your Honor. So going back, child support under Texas would be $261, Your Honor. If we went based on mom's count of 46 months, retro is $12,006. If we use 261 times 43 months based on what dad is claiming, we do it under Texas, that's 11,223. If we went with California's numbers, Your Honor, for the children, the child support is 555 times mom's 46, which is the 25,530. If we went with dad's number of 43 months times 555, 43 months times 500, that's 23,865, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then, Miss Exalia, did Mr. Alexander turn over any documents with regards to direct payments to Miss Alexander?
Yes.
And were you able to calculate those numbers in which he sent to you? The total.
They were screenshots, and the total, I haven't finished calculating them. Give me one moment.
Okay.
So cash wise, I have 1,200, but then he also sent screenshots that he's ordered clothes and possession, and he states that that equals a total of credit of $3,000.
No, my God, no.
I think I need you to refrain from responding, Ms. Alexander. It's not your turn. It's not necessary.
Okay, so at least through CashApp or some other entity, you were able to see 1,200.
Correct.
And were you able to see the cost of the clothes he said he spent? Were you able to at least like calculate that, or is that just what he's stating?
They're just screenshots of Amazon packages delivered, and then it just shows screenshots of clothes or what's in the Amazon packages.
Okay, so none of that has any pricing.
Correct.
Okay, so he wasn't able to verify the 3,000 he's claiming.
No, not the full amount.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then I believe that's all the questions I have for you, Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay, before I let you go, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. or Ms. Alexander, you are here representing yourself. You have the same right of cross-examination as if you had a lawyer present, so that you get to examine any witnesses, and that would be right now Ms. Gonzalez. So let me start with you, Mr. Alexander. Do you have any questions regarding the testimony or the math or the wages that Ms. Gonzalez testified to? Do you have any questions to her?
No, ma'am, but I can get you guys the pricings for the clothing and stuff I did spend. I can get you guys the pricing right now.
Well, that may come up when it's your turn to testify. It's just right now she's testifying. She doesn't have that information. She made that real clear, but she did state what you stated. So do you have any questions for her before we let her go?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Okay, Ms. Alexander, do you have any questions for Ms. Gonzalez? Ms. Alexander?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Coates, do you have more?
I apologize. I just want to clarify. Ms. Gonzalez, he's claiming 3,000 in credit, though 1,200 through cash.
Correct. He's claiming 1,200 in cash, and then an additional of about 1,800 or 1,500, equaling almost $3,000 that he's paid total in the past 4 years, he states.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
wanted to clarify.
thanks for that clarification. I'm not sure I understood it that way. Okay. And that was for, you said it was a 4-year time period, Ms. Gonzalez? Is that
Correct. That's what he stated.
Okay. Thank you. So does that raise any questions for you, Mr. Alexander, for Ms. Gonzalez
No,
or Ms. Alexander?
I don't have any questions for Miss.
Okay, I usually have questions, but you don't have any resources you looked at. It's just strict minimum wage calculations and
Correct.
what the parties stated to you, Ms. Gonzalez, correct?
Correct, Judge.
Okay, then I think that's all we can get. That's all we got. So you're ready for me to excuse her, Ms. Coates? Nothing else?
Yes, Judge, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. I know you have other duties. You're excused from this hearing.
The state's going to call Miss Alexander.
Okay.
Miss Alexander, when you and Mr. Alexander were living together, what kind of line of work did he do?
He was working in plumbing. He's done several things through the time of we've been married, but when we lived in California, he worked for plumbing companies.
And how long was that? Was that like his whole career, or did he do it for a couple of years, or?
He only did it when we got to California. So when we first arrived in California in 2019, he started working for a plumbing company probably within maybe 4 months or so after our arrival. And then he was fired from that company. He started working at another plumbing company. So until the time that we separated, he was working at plumbing companies the entire duration of my stay, me and my children's stay in California.
And did you see what his pay stubs look like? Did you see like what his average kind of like pay rate was?
I have copies. I grabbed all this out of my closet. His pay rate at that time, I'm not certain from right off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I do have documents in my closet to state what his pay rate was. I have some of his check stubs because when I was trying to buy a house back before I left California, I needed his income.
Okay. So would you say during the time you two were together between 2019 2021, was he making more than $16.50 or right around there?
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Sorry. So I'm the attorney, by the way, asking the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Judge. Yeah. So he was capable of making at least $16.50 an hour.
Yes.
Now, there is some dispute of when you two separated or moved out, or so did you when did you move out? Or him?
He moved out of the house. I was still in the home, and the landlord can also vouch for that. That's the only witness that can vouch for that. Of course, his uncle knew that. His uncle is the one that helped me and my kid to move once I couldn't buy a house, and basically he was living with his girlfriend, his now girlfriend. And that was May 28th. He left the home.
May 28, 2021 is when he left the apartment you shared?
Yes.
Did you verify the 2021, Ms. Alexander?
Did I verify? I have.
Well, right now during your testimony, I need to know, because you didn't finish it and I wanted to hear it from you, what the year was, if I heard them wrong.
May 28, 2021 is when Joshua left the home and me and my kids were there.
All right. And so this was when you were in California and he left the home, your apartment or the home that you shared. When did you leave California?
I left California October 2nd, 2021. Because the landlord was selling the house, so we had to get out of the home.
Okay, so you left October 2021. Left California. So in May, when he left, what happened? What caused you two to separate?
He left and went for a weekend. He said, well, he left and went, he said, to his mom in Detroit, but actually he went to the loud lady that he lives with, and he spent days there. He didn't come home. And so once he arrived home, then he packed his things and threw everything in the car and he left.
I'm so sorry. My internet dropped. So did you two end your relationship? From what I heard before I lost internet, your relationship ended because he was seeing another woman?
Yes, he was seeing another woman.
Okay. During your marriage, had he ever been violent with you or the children, or violent in front of the children, whether physically, emotionally, verbally, any of that? Had any of that occurred during your marriage?
Yes, on several occasions.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened during your marriage with regards to that?
The one that I had the protective order, this happened February, on my son's birthday, February 12th of 2018. I woke up to him beating me across my face, for a picture I had in my phone of a coworker that I work with at Lackland Air Force Base. He had an AR-15 laying across the bed. I retreated to the room and I called 911. He took off before the police got there. And at that time, that's when I was issued a protective order, and CPS got involved because the violence happened in front of the children. They were up at the time. And so he was no longer able to come to the house or stay at the house until that case was closed.
Was this in California?
This happened in Bexar County. We lived off of Foster Road in Bexar County in San Antonio.
Okay. And to your knowledge, that protective order is most likely expired?
Yes.
Do you remember what the protective order stated? Was it just you protected or the children?
It was me and the children. And like I said, at that point, CPS also came involved because a social worker arrived with the cop that night. And so that's when CPS had to come in, and they said he could not come to the house because he tried to move back the next day, come back to the house. And I told him he could not stay there because CPS said that the case was under their jurisdiction at that time.
Okay. So then at some point in 2019, you two are still together and you moved to California. Why did y'all move to California?
He moved to California to rekindle our marriage. So much stuff had happened here in regards to cheating and other women. So his family he was from California, his mom side of the family. So he wanted to move back to be closer to family. And so I agreed.
And then did anything happen in 2019 aside from the affairs that, had you move or call police and get another protective order?
Yes. December 26th of 2019, he came home drunk and he started making verbal threats to me, telling me he was going to kill me. And so I retreated to the bedroom upstairs, my daughter's room. And I was on the phone with his aunt, telling her how he was acting because she called and talked to him. I heard a shotgun go off, a gun blast. I immediately started looking for my kids. And I called 911. They told me to try to get the kids in the room. My baby at the time, Christopher, was downstairs. My oldest son, which is his stepson, Kobe, was downstairs as well. My daughter was in my bedroom across the hall from her bedroom watching TV. I got him in the room, and that's when I heard helicopters and the cops. And so they had guns drawn on my son outside because he answered the door. And so then they gave me the okay to come out because I was still on the phone with the 911 operator. And they arrested him on that night for terrorist threats and for disarming a firearm in the home.
And so you got an emergency protective order, but it expired the following month. Is that correct?
Yes, it did.
But at that time, since he was arrested and charged, you didn't follow up. You didn't follow up with an extended protective order?
No, ma'am, I didn't. I tried to obtain an extended one, but I didn't. And then tried to reconcile once again about a month or two later. And that's when he moved back to the home.
Okay. So you moved to Texas October. And since being in Texas, to your knowledge, have you known Mr. Alexander to come to Texas? Have you heard about any visits or anything?
No, ma'am, I have not heard of any visits. He has not. If he has come to Texas, I was not known about it. And his father and his stepmom, they can verify that because they have not seen him as well in the last 3 years since we've been living here, me and my children.
When was the last time your children physically, in person, saw Mr. Alexander?
September of 2021. And that's when we were moving out of the house. I was packing everything into a pod to be taken. And he came and then he never returned to see them after that. He did not come on the day we moved out. My landlord helped me and the kids move out of the home and with the rest of the stuff and packed my truck. And then that's when I left that night to drive. And I drove to Arizona, stayed at a hotel, and then we continued the next day and got to San Antonio.
When was the last time he spoke?
When the last time that we speak, he and I?
When was the last time Mr. Alexander spoke to the children, whether he contacted you or their cell phones to talk to them?
The last time he spoke to the children to my daughter. She was talking to him on her pad because her phone broke. And he had a promise that he would get her a phone. He never sent the money. And so then when she proceeded to ask, once we returned from Louisiana, because I had gone to my parents for Christmas break.
Okay, hold on. I didn't hear when the last time she spoke to him.
He last spoke to my daughter on last week.
Okay, last week. And what about before then? Last week.
Okay, I heard it.
Yes, and that's he called her a nigger. So it was verbal abuse. He called her broke. And that's when she was upset. So I told her to block him because a father does not talk to a daughter like that. And I wasn't going to allow it anymore.
Okay. So before that harassing call, when was the last time she had spoken to him? So before last week, was there another time she spoke to him?
Yeah, she was speaking to him just daily, pretty much daily. I didn't restrict her from calling or talking to him. They would talk on FaceTime. And that's how like I said, they were still talking.
Okay. Let me stop you, Ms. Coach. We have somebody in the waiting room that might be here on another case. Do you want to deal with that, Ms. Portillo? Thank you. Can you pick up where you left off or restart your sentence?
Yes. Okay. So your daughter before last week had daily communications with him via her phone?
Yes, via her phone.
And she currently now has him blocked.
Well, she couldn't talk to him because she didn't have a phone. So, but on her pad, he still was able to text her on her iPad.
Okay, so she was communicating via her iPad, but now is his phone number blocked on there?
I'm not sure. I told her to. I said, because after he called her a nigger and called her broke and was like, I have people to take care of or whatever, he he upset her very much.
Okay. And what about your son? When was the last time he spoke with your son?
He hasn't spoken to Christopher. My gosh. he doesn't call Christopher's phone. Christopher doesn't have a phone. He sent Christopher a phone, and he doesn't pay the bill. So he doesn't have, his phone is not on. He only uses it for like in Wi-Fi when we're at home or something like that. But when my daughter, I asked her, she says that, oh, he asked about Chris, but he really doesn't like communicate with Chris that much.
Okay. And is that because he doesn't want to, Mr. Alexander doesn't want to, or just Christopher not want to talk to Mr. Alexander?
No, Christopher will talk to him, but I don't know. He mostly talks to my daughter.
Okay. Has anything else inappropriately, aside from the name callings,
yes.
Has Mr. Alexander done or said anything else?
Yes. My daughter said that he was, I guess, cheating on his girlfriend, and he had an extra phone. And she said that he showed her a picture of the women or whatever, pictures of the women that he had been messing around with on the phone, which I thought was extremely inappropriate to do that for a little 13-year-old girl and your daughter. And he, one day she said that she asked him, she said, oh, so what about your other phone? And he was like, shh, shh, or whatever, because his girlfriend was in the room. And I just thought that was very inappropriate. So I told her that I was really contemplating not allowing her to have communication with him until we finished this court as far as child support. But she continued to have communication with him even after that. So she just like, Mom, and don't tell
Miss
him.
Miss Alexander. Okay. I'm going to ask you questions, but I kind of just need you to rein it in. So these photos that he sent, have you seen these photos?
No, I did not see them.
Okay. Did your daughter say if they were sexually explicit or if they were just regular, like, photos, just like, this is what she looks like?
I believe she did report to me at one point that it was someone in a bra or something like that, but I don't think that the person was naked or anything of that sort. She didn't state it to me.
Okay. Now, if visitations were to be granted, are you asking that they only be electronic and that you have the right to end the electronic visitation if they are inappropriate? So you kind of sit in the background supervising, and if he starts saying disparaging remarks and things like that, that you be allowed to end the call?
Yes.
Okay. I understand you don't want them to have any visits. However, you'd be more comfortable with just electronic visits.
Yes, I'm more comfortable with electronic visits. If there were to be physical visits, I mean, of course, he lives in California and I'm here. I'm not comfortable with my children having to fly out there to see him, and he lives with his girlfriend. And so I will never want them to be in her company as well.
Okay. And so he testified, well, not necessarily testified, but he kind of already mentioned that he's homeless. So is that another factor of why visits right now are not appropriate?
He is not, well, from my understanding, he is not homeless. My daughter is at home with his girlfriend every day, talking to them with his baby running around playing. She sees him go pick up her son. She has a son from school. In the car, she sees him in his work truck, going to jobs. She talks to her while he's actively working. It's still plumbing. He still plumbs. He had a plumbing company, Twisted Plumbing. I reported that to child support about maybe back in June of this year. They say they would look into it. He took down the Instagram site of his company.
Okay. So, Miss Alexander, what is it about his girlfriend that you're not comfortable with then?
His girlfriend has called me a black bitch in front of my daughter. My daughter told me about it.
Has she made any threats to your children?
I have not heard, I don't talk to her, but I have not heard her make a threat toward my children.
All right. Now,
Just for me,
given,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
so, when was the last time you spoken to Mr. Alexander?
The last time he asked, I don't talk to Joshua. He asked my daughter to give me the phone. And I just was listening to what he had to say. And that's when he promised to give her the money for her phone. And that was prior to us leaving to go to my parents for Christmas break. And he's told, I don't know, I guess he wanted to verify to me that, yes, I'm going to send her the money. I wouldn't do you like that or whatever. And that's the last time that I had any type of communication with him. I don't communicate.
What year was that? What year?
Happened on the 20th of December of 2024. That's the last time that I.
It looks like Ms. Alexander froze.
I did too, Your Honor. So.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
She still looks frozen.
Yeah, maybe if we stop her video, that might help. Ms. Alexander?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh no, I'm Miss Alexander.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She still shows a connection, but it looks totally frozen on the screen.
Yes. Me too. I can't hear her.
She got knocked off the Zoom platform, so we'll wait on her for a minute. They usually come right back.
Your Honor, she said sometime in 2024. Before I cut out, I didn't get to.
Yeah, I heard December of 2024 was the last time.
Okay.
Your Honor.
I can't talk to you, Mr. Alexander, because she's not present, so we're waiting on her to come back. That wouldn't be fair if the opposite had happened and you weren't here and she was. So just hold on.
Okay.
I'm taking care of other business so that I know what else is left for me for the day.
Okay.
So hang on. Ms. Coates, are y'all reaching out to her by text or by phone to see if she's trying to?
Yes. We tried to call her, but it went straight to voicemail, so I don't know if her phone died or what's going on. We'll give her a few, and then I guess if she doesn't come back,
that I was just wanting to make sure we weren't wasting time that you were trying to reach out.
No, we're trying.
That's the one drawback to electronic hearings.
Yep, I did warn her. I did say plug in your phone.
Yeah.
I can't reach her, Your Honor. I tried the phone number on file and it's just going straight to voicemail.
Well, it's been 8 minutes. I don't know how long to wait now. We can't wait forever. And I'm not going to default her. She clearly didn't hang up in anger or something and doesn't want to participate. I've had that happen, but most of the time it's inadvertent and just they usually come back pretty quick. They figure out the battery needs to be plugged in or something else. Get a new device if the device failed. Something. Pick up the phone. Nobody at your office has received any phone calls. There's not any emails or messages to you all about her trying to reach out.
Nobody's IMing me or anything like that, Your Honor. Best thing I can say at this point is resetting it to February 14th.
It's already been 11 minutes.
Now,
keeping track.
Now I was going to ask you too, if I move back to my girlfriend's house and I'll be able to show that I live here and stable and everything, would I still be able to see my kids?
That's a substantive question that I cannot answer. However, whatever you do to help your case wouldn't hurt to testify to and have witnesses. That's all I need to know. What?
I said, thank you. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Well, okay. It's been.
I think it's safe to say to reset. Your Honor. I think we should move it to the 14th at 8:30.
Okay, yeah, I might tell her that, she kept trying to bring up, so-and-so can testify, I have a witness to this, that. Well, that doesn't cut it. That is not testimony just because she says somebody will say. So if the parties want to come back better prepared, I would more than welcome it. However, it looks like today's not going to be it. I'm not good. Yeah, it's already been 12 minutes. So let's reset.
Yes. So we'll do February 14th at 8:30 for this case.
Okay, you're the only Mr. Alexander. She's not here, but I am officially resetting your case to Friday, February 14th. You won't forget Valentine's Day. You have a date in court with this case, will you?
Valentine's, that's a beautiful gift for me. Thank you, Your Honor.
February 14th. I'd like to use reminders so people don't forget their court dates. So that's one. It's at 10:30 a.m. this time. I know there's a time difference, so whatever that means for you, it's 10:30 Central Standard Time.